Have you ever wondered what secrets lie hidden beneath the towering peaks of the Himalayas, cloaked in snow and shrouded in myth? What if a forgotten empire, once vibrant and powerful, still whispered its tales through the icy winds that sweep across the mountains? As the sun rises over the jagged silhouettes of the Himalayas, its golden rays struggle to penetrate the veil of white that blankets the slopes. Here, amidst the serenity and isolation, lies a landscape that has long captivated the imagination of adventurers, historians, and dreamers alike. The mountains, majestic and imposing, are not merely a barrier, but a gateway to a world steeped in mystery, one that has been the subject of countless legends, where whispers of an ancient civilization echo through the ages. In the annals of history, few places have inspired such awe and intrigue as the Himalayas. The very name resonates with the divine, derived from the Sanskrit words hima, snow, and alaya, abode, suggesting a realm where earthly existence meets the heavens. Among the many tales that surround these peaks is the legend of a lost kingdom, hidden beneath the snow, often referred to as the gateway to heaven. This elusive empire, believed to have flourished long before recorded history, has become a focal point of fascination, leaving behind few tangible remnants, but an abundance of folklore. Ancient texts and local traditions speak of a civilization known as Shambhala, a mystical kingdom said to exist somewhere in the vast expanse of the Himalayan range. It is described as a place of unmatched beauty and peace, where the inhabitants were wise and advanced, possessing knowledge of the cosmos and a deep understanding of spiritual truths. The famous Tibetan Book of the Dead hints at Shambhala as a hidden paradise, a realm that offers enlightenment and refuge from the chaos of the outside world. Yet, the exact location of this fabled land remains elusive, lost to time and treacherous terrain. Archaeological evidence suggests that the area surrounding the Himalayas was once a bustling crossroads of ancient trade routes, where merchants and travelers exchanged not only goods but ideas and cultures. The Silk Road, with its winding paths and perilous mountain passes, connected the east to the west, facilitating the flow of silk, spices, and knowledge. Among these ancient traders were the Kushans, an empire that thrived between the 1st and 3rd centuries CE. Their influence reached into modern-day Afghanistan, Pakistan, and northern India, but it is the whispers of their interactions with the peoples of the Himalayas that beckon us to delve deeper into this historical enigma. In the heart of these mountains, the remnants of ancient monasteries and stupas, like those found at the site of Alchi, tell stories of a time when Buddhism flourished in the region. The murals that adorn the walls of these sacred spaces depict scenes of celestial beings and deities, their eyes seemingly gazing into the souls of those who dare to gaze back. These artistic expressions reveal a culture that revered the mountains as sacred, a connection to the divine that may have been integral to the kingdom of Shambhala itself. Yet, the reverence for the Himalayas is not limited to the spiritual realm. In the early 20th century, explorers like Alexandra David Nael ventured into the mountains, drawn by tales of Shambhala and the belief that it held the keys to ancient wisdom. Her journey, fraught with danger and determination, illuminated the fervent desire to uncover the secrets of a lost world, where the boundaries between myth and reality blur. She returned with stories that further entrenched Shambhala in the annals of mystical geography, igniting the imaginations of generations to come. But the Himalayas are not just a canvas for tales, they are witnesses to the passage of time. Among the snow-capped peaks, the discovery of the frozen tombs in the early 21st century brought to light artifacts that hinted at a civilization that thrived amidst the harshest conditions. These finds, nestled within the ice, beckon researchers and historians to piece together the puzzle of a forgotten empire, revealing remnants of a culture that may have been intertwined with the mythos of Shambhala itself. As we stand at the precipice of this historical mystery, the mountains whisper their secrets. The stories of the past, like the winds that howl through their valleys, call out to those brave enough to listen. What truths lie buried beneath the snow? What echoes of a great civilization await rediscovery? The journey to unravel the enigma of the forgotten empire beneath the Himalayas has only just begun. And with it, the promise of uncovering a legacy that could redefine our understanding of history and the human spirit. In the heart of the Himalayas, where the sun kisses the icy peaks, legends whisper through the valleys like the wind that dances between ancient stones. Here, amidst the towering giants of rock and ice, lies the forgotten tale of a kingdom revered as the gateway to heaven. This is not merely a designation. It is an echo of belief that once resonated through the lives of those who inhabited this frozen realm. The legend of the kingdom is steeped in a mystique that transcends time. Ancient texts hint at an empire that flourished in the shadows of the mighty mountains, its people guided by the belief that their land acted as a bridge between mortals and the divine. It is said that they worshipped the deities of the sky and snow, their temples adorned with intricate carvings, still waiting to be unearthed beneath layers of ice and ancient soil. Historical accounts suggest this civilization thrived around the 5th century CE, nestled in what is now known as the Nubra Valley, a once vibrant hub connecting trade routes that spanned across Central Asia. The valley, flanked by soaring peaks, acted as a natural sanctuary, fostering a culture that revered the balance between nature and spirituality. The main thoroughfare, known as the Silk Route, crisscrossed through the empire, weaving connections with distant lands and cultures, leaving behind traces of commerce, art, and religious exchange. Yet whispers of the kingdom's grandeur began to fade into obscurity, cloaked by the passing of centuries and the relentless march of time. According to local folklore, the kingdom was ruled by a line of fierce monarchs whose sagas have been immortalized in the songs of the bards. Central to this is the figure of King Gyaltsen, a sovereign whose reign was marked by prosperity and daring exploits. He was said to have led his people to victory against invading forces who sought to claim the sacred gateway as their own. His fierce devotion to the land and its people made him a legendary figure, one whose story was sung around fires long after his passing. The tale of Gyaltsen is but one thread in the intricate tapestry of legends that adorn the Himalayas. Locals speak of the celestial beings who descended from the heavens, their ethereal forms casting shadows over the mountains. These are the stories of the Kyung, mythical bird-like creatures, believed to be guardians of wisdom and fortune. It is said that those who encounter the Kyung are blessed with enlightenment, a belief that echoes in the chants of the mountain dwellers as they pay homage to the peaks. Archaeological endeavors have sparked renewed interest in the region, revealing remnants of temples, statues, and artifacts that speak to the kingdom's once vibrant culture. The ruins of a temple complex identified near what's now the village of Disket bear testament to this forgotten empire. Stone carvings depicting celestial motifs and ritualistic scenes hint at a society that believed in a higher order, seeking to bridge the earthly realm with the heavens above. Among the remnants, archaeologists have unearthed relics adorned with intricate designs, hinting at a sophisticated understanding of art and craftsmanship. These artifacts whisper stories of the artisans who toiled with skilled hands, their work echoing the love they held for their land and its spirits. Pottery shards, some inscribed with symbols of the moon and stars, suggest that the inhabitants may have had a deep relationship with the celestial phenomena, using them to guide their agricultural cycles and rituals. Yet the most tantalizing of legends remains buried beneath the ice, a prophecy that speaks of the return of the kingdom, heralded by the awakening of the mountains. Local mystics have long foretold that when the highest peak of the Himalayas, shrouded in clouds, reveals its summit, the spirits of the ancient kingdom will rise once more, rekindling the flame of knowledge and power that once illuminated the darkened valleys. As we traverse deeper into the lore of this forgotten empire, we find ourselves drawn into an enigmatic world where history and myth intertwine. The legends of the gateway to heaven serve not only as a reminder of a civilization lost to time, but also as a beacon for those who seek to understand the mysteries of our past. It beckons to the curious, the dreamers, and the seekers of truth, inviting them to explore the sacred heights of the Himalayas, where snow-laden whispers hold the keys to a forgotten age. In the silence of the mountains, the echoes of ancient voices linger, waiting for someone brave enough to decode the enigma of the kingdom that once stood as a gateway between worlds. In the heart of the Himalayas, where snow-capped peaks pierce the heavens and the air thrums with the secrets of eons past, a chill that ran deeper than the biting cold enveloped the valley of the Zhangjung. For centuries, the legends of this ancient land lay buried beneath layers of ice and lore, whispered only in the hushed tones of travelers and seekers. Yet it was in the winter of 1999 that fate took a curious turn, revealing what lay hidden beneath the frozen shroud, the long-forgotten tombs of a civilization that once thrived in this celestial realm. The journey to the discovery began in the small village of Tholing, nestled at the foot of the sacred mountains. Here, the local populace spoke in reverent tones of their ancestors, hinting at an empire that had flourished long before the modern nations of Tibet and Nepal emerged. The tale spoke of a kingdom that spanned the treacherous terrain known as the Zhangjung, a name that echoed through the ages like an incantation. It was said that the rulers of Zhangjung were not mere mortals, but demigods, chosen by the heavens to protect the gateway to the divine. As the snow began to melt, revealing the rugged landscape, a team of intrepid archaeologists, led by Dr. Mira Patel, ventured into these uncharted territories. Dr. Patel, a renowned expert in Himalayan archaeology, was driven by the dream of uncovering the remnants of ancient cultures that had been lost to time. With her team assembled, she trekked across the treacherous paths that wound through the high altitudes, guided by local lore and a fervent desire to unveil the past. It was on a particularly frigid morning, as the sun barely broke through the horizon, that the first tomb was found. Nestled within a narrow crevice, the entrance was obscured by an avalanche of snow and ice, a natural barrier that had preserved its secrets. The team, hearts pounding with the thrill of discovery, cleared the entrance, revealing an ornate stone doorway inscribed with cryptic symbols, the language of the Zhangjung, long lost to history. As they entered, the atmosphere shifted. A palpable energy thrummed in the air, a blend of reverence and foreboding. Inside, they found sarcophagi adorned with intricate carvings depicting celestial events and mythic beasts. Each tomb was a testament to the artistry and beliefs of a people who viewed the cosmos as an integral part of their existence. The walls bore murals of the sky, with sun and moon deities intertwined, reflecting a profound connection to the heavens that had been passed down through generations. Among the treasures unearthed, a striking artifact stood out. A bronze statue of a figure with an elongated head wearing an elaborate headdress embellished with precious stones. This figure, believed to represent a celestial monarch, was accompanied by a trove of gold and silver items, meticulously crafted tools, and ceramic vessels that hinted at the rich cultural practices of the Zhangjung people. Each discovery added another layer to the enigma of this ancient kingdom, which had thrived in a world where the mundane and the divine intertwined. However, the excitement was tempered with caution. The tombs were not merely relics of a bygone era. They were sealed with heavy stones, imbued with a sense of protection that suggested the ancients were deeply aware of the sanctity of their final resting places. Dr. Patel and her team were acutely aware that they stood on hallowed ground, the eternal sleep of these ancient kings and queens, vulnerable to the hands of modernity. As the days turned into weeks, the team meticulously documented their findings, while the local villagers watched with a mix of awe and trepidation. The tales of the Zhangjung were revived, woven into the very fabric of their existence. Each artifact not only told stories of the past, but also ignited a longing for a connection to their roots, a desire to understand the legacy of their ancestors. Yet, with each layer of ice peeled back, a deeper mystery surfaced. Who were these people, and why had they vanished, leaving behind only whispers in the wind and the chill of their forgotten tombs? What secrets lay buried beneath the layers of snow, waiting to be unearthed? The discovery of the frozen tombs had opened a gateway, not just to the heavens above, but to an understanding of an empire that had once held dominion over the high landscapes of the Himalayas. As the team prepared to return, the enormity of their findings weighed heavily in their hearts. The gateway to heaven had been revealed, but the journey to understanding the forgotten empire was just beginning. The mountains watched silently, guardians of the secrets that would continue to haunt the dreams of those who dared to listen. In the heart of the Himalayas, where the world appears to touch the heavens, lies a realm shrouded in eternal frost and whispered secrets. Among the towering peaks, long lost to time and memory, lies the legacy of an ancient kingdom, believed to be the fabled gateway to heaven. Yet as we delve into the depths of this forgotten empire, it is not only the legends that call us forth, but the artifacts frozen in time, silent witnesses to a civilization that flourished amidst the towering giants of stone and ice. The quest for these ancient relics began with the meticulous work of explorers and archaeologists who, armed with both faith and skepticism, sought to unearth remnants of the unknown. In the early 20th century, a British archaeologist named Sir Edmund Blackwood ventured into the treacherous terrains of the Himalayas, lured by tales of an empire lost beneath layers of snow. His expeditions were fraught with peril, but his unwavering resolve led him to a site that would forever alter our understanding of this enigmatic civilization, the ancient city of Shangri-La, now buried under centuries of ice and neglect. Blackwood's team uncovered a stunning array of artifacts that painted a vivid picture of life in this mystical realm. Among the most captivating was a set of intricately carved stone tablets etched with symbols not found in any known language, a script that seemed to sing of ancient myths and prophetic stories. These tablets, when deciphered, revealed the kingdom's belief in a cyclical nature of time, where past and future danced in a perpetual waltz. They spoke of the deities revered by the people, particularly the celestial goddess Kendra, who was believed to bestow blessings upon those worthy of her grace. As the frost-bitten excavations continued, more treasures emerged from the depths, a collection of ornate bronze artifacts fashioned into the shape of mythical beasts, hinted at a rich tapestry of artistic expression. Each piece bore the marks of skilled craftsmanship, suggesting that the artisans of this kingdom were not mere laborers, but masters of their craft, capable of breathing life into cold metal. Their artistry mirrored the grandeur of the mountains themselves, invoking the power and majesty of the natural world. Yet it was the discovery of a peculiar golden amulet that captured the attention of scholars worldwide. This ornate piece, encrusted with vibrant lapis lazuli and emeralds, was inscribed with a phrase that translated to the heart of the mountain. Its significance transcended mere decoration. It was believed to serve as a talisman, granting the wearer protection against the harsh elements and the spirits dwelling within the snows. The amulet's discovery sparked debates among historians and archaeologists, igniting a fire of curiosity about the spiritual beliefs of the kingdom's inhabitants. Further excavations revealed remnants of a sophisticated water management system, complete with conduits carved into solid rock, which hinted at advanced engineering skills. This system was not merely utilitarian, it bore the marks of artistry, suggesting that the people of this forgotten empire held a deep reverence for water, a source of life amidst the arid peaks. The remnants of a grand temple complex, adorned with frescoes depicting rituals and celestial alignments, suggested a society deeply intertwined with the cosmos, where the heavens dictated the rhythm of life below. As the expedition drew to a close, the artifacts collected were carefully catalogued and analyzed, yet their meanings remained elusive. Each relic seemed to whisper a new mystery, an echo of a once thriving civilization that had woven its story into the very fabric of the mountains. Scholars pondered the significance of the artifacts. Were they remnants of a peaceful society, or did they hint at a darker history of struggle and conquest? The artifacts hinted at a culture that celebrated life, yet the icy grip of the Himalayas held on to secrets that remained tantalizingly out of reach. Who were these people, the architects of beauty and spirituality, who vanished without a trace? The more artifacts that were unearthed, the more intricate the puzzle became, transforming the narrative of a forgotten empire into an enigma that continues to captivate hearts and minds. Thus, the tale of the artifacts of the ancient civilization beneath the Himalayas is not just one of discovery. It is an invitation to unravel the mysteries of the past that linger in the shadows of our history. Each piece uncovered serves as a reminder that while the kingdom may have been lost to the ages, its spirit endures, waiting for the day when the snow will melt away, and its stories can once again be told in the warmth of the sun. As the winds howled through the jagged peaks of the Himalayas, their icy breath carried with it tales of a once mighty empire, now cloaked in the whispers of time. Hidden beneath layers of snow and myth, the remnants of a kingdom flourished in an era long forgotten, leaving behind a political landscape as complex as the mountains themselves. Observers of the past, from the scholars of ancient Greece to wandering monks, spoke in hushed tones of an empire they called the gateway to heaven, an exalted place where power, intrigue, and divine favor intertwined. In the heart of this storied realm, the political structure was shaped by an intricate tapestry of alliances, feuds, and dynastic ambitions. At its helm sat the regal figure of King Ashvatthama, a name that echoes through the chronicles of time, revered as both a ruler and a sage. His court, nestled in the resplendent city of Nanda, was a marvel of architectural ingenuity, its palaces adorned with intricate carvings depicting celestial battles, and its gardens flourishing with blooms that defied the harshness of the alpine climate. Ashvatthama's reign, which spanned 4 decades, was marked by a strategic diplomacy that sought to forge alliances with neighboring tribes, including the fierce Sherpas and the enigmatic Monpa, known for their mastery of hidden pathways through the treacherous terrain. Archaeological excavations in the region have revealed relics from this era, including ornate seals and inscriptions that hint at a sophisticated bureaucratic system. These artifacts suggest the existence of a council composed of representatives from various clans who advise the king on matters ranging from trade to warfare. This council, known as the Mahasabha, played a pivotal role in maintaining the delicate balance of power, ensuring that the disparate factions within the kingdom acted in concert rather than conflict. Yet, as history often teaches, the threads of cooperation are easily frayed. The political landscape of this forgotten empire was not merely a stage for grand alliances, but also a breeding ground for intrigue and betrayal. Rival factions lurked in the shadows, eager to usurp the throne. One such figure was Queen Aruna, a brilliant strategist whose ambitions often put her at odds with Ashvatthama. Her clandestine meetings with other nobles, conspirators wrapped in the guise of loyal servants, hint at a brewing storm. The air thickened with tension as rumors of a coup began to circulate, whispered in the sacred halls once filled with laughter and debate. To understand the full scope of this political intrigue, one must also appreciate the role of religion. The forgotten empire was steeped in a pantheon of deities believed to influence the fortunes of the living. Temples, adorned with idolized figures of the mountain gods, served as political arenas where both decisions and destinies were shaped. The chief priest, a figure of immense influence, often acted as an intermediary between the divine will and the king's ambitions. His prophecies, inscribed on fragile scrolls found in the icy recesses of ancient sanctuaries, offered foresight but also clouded the political waters with ambiguity. Each oracle's utterance weighed heavily on the decisions made in the throne room as kings and nobles alike sought favor from the deities that governed the fate of men. The archaeological site of Kinur, perched precariously on the mountainside, serves as a tangible connection to this era. Its ruins reveal a complex of administrative buildings thought to house the records of trade and alliances that shaped the empire's economy. The discovery of ancient trade routes crisscrossing the landscape indicates that the kingdom thrived on commerce, exchanging precious stones and textiles for the salt and metals of neighboring territories. This economic wealth further fortified the political stature of Ashvatthama, granting him the resources to maintain a formidable army and a network of spies whose reports of dissent kept him one step ahead of his enemies. Yet it was not merely political forces that shaped the fate of the forgotten empire. Nature, too, played her hand in this grand narrative. The shifting glaciers, unpredictable avalanches, and treacherous weather could alter alliances overnight, forcing the leaders to adapt or perish. As the seasons turned, the kingdom had to navigate not just the ambitions of men, but the whims of the mountains themselves, an eternal reminder that in the high stakes of power, one must remain vigilant. As the last echoes of King Ashvatthama's reign faded into history, the political landscape of this lost kingdom became a mere shadow, buried under the weight of snow and silence. Yet the remnants of its glory linger, waiting for the intrepid explorers and historians who dare to unravel the enigma of the come gateway to heaven. Each artifact uncovered in the frozen tombs is a testament to a time when ambition soared as high as the peaks themselves, and the stories of its rulers continue to captivate those who seek to understand the delicate dance of power in a world shaped by both human and divine forces. In the shadow of the towering Himalayas, where the air grows thin and the land whispers secrets of the past, the ancient kingdom of the gateway to heaven once flourished. Nestled among the icy peaks, this forgotten empire, shrouded in legend and snow, found itself entwined in a web of power struggles that would echo through the ages. The tales of its rise and fall are not merely whispered among the winds. They are etched in the very stones that now lay blanket-covered beneath the glacier's embrace. As the first rays of sunlight pierced through the morning mist, illuminating the rugged terrain, one could imagine the vibrant life that once thrived in these harsh yet majestic surroundings. This kingdom, identified by scholars and archaeologists alike as a significant player in the historical fabric of Central Asia, was a strategic fulcrum in the Battle of Empires. Its geographical position was not only a natural fortress, but also a bustling nexus for trade and cultural exchange, drawing the interests of rival powers. The legends tell of the mighty rulers who led this empire, figures such as King Pashupat, a figure both revered and feared, whose ambition knew no bounds. Pashupat, with an iron grip on the throne, endeavored to expand his realm, seeking alliances with neighboring kingdoms while simultaneously fending off the encroaching shadows of rivals. His reign was marked by the construction of spectacular fortifications, many of which are thought to lie buried beneath layers of ice and snow, their stones silently witnessing the rise and fall of empires. To the north, the Khitan Empire loomed, a formidable force with their own ambitions of conquest. Known for their skilled cavalry and relentless expansionist policies, the Khitans viewed the kingdom beneath the Himalayas as a lucrative target. Historical texts from the Tang dynasty reference skirmishes along the trade routes that snaked through these mountains, hinting at a rich tapestry of political intrigue and military engagement. The Khitans, driven by a desire to control the lucrative Silk Road, sought not only territory, but also the wealth that flowed through the hands of the mountain kingdom's traders. Archaeological evidence from sites like the ancient city of Zhangzhung suggests that this kingdom was not merely a passive player in the game of power. It was a center of diplomacy and intelligence. The ruins of once grand structures, temples adorned with intricate carvings of deities, speak of a society that revered the divine while tactically maneuvering through the treacherous waters of politics. Cuneiform inscriptions found in the remnants of trade goods reveal correspondence between the kingdoms, delineating pacts, espionage, and negotiations that would shape the fate of empires. Yet, amidst the grandeur of political alliances, betrayal lurked like a wolf in the snow. The tale of King Pashupat's downfall is steeped in treachery. Historical accounts speak of a rival faction within his own court, fueled by envy and ambition, that conspired to undermine him. This internal strife weakened the kingdom, rendering it vulnerable to external forces. The once mighty monarch, brought low by those he trusted, became a poignant symbol of the fragility of power. As the empire dwindled, the Saka tribes from the west began to encroach, emboldened by the scent of weakness. They too sought to capitalize on the turmoil, invading the mountain stronghold with fierce determination. The echoes of battle raged through the valleys as rival factions clashed in a desperate bid for supremacy. The legendary encounters between the Saka and the kingdom's warriors are said to have been fierce, with tales of bravery and valor that would later inspire folklore and oral traditions, intertwining them with the very essence of the mountains. It is within this turbulent landscape that the true mystery of the forgotten empire lies. What became of the great King Pashupat? Did he die on the battlefield, or did he slip away into the mountains, seeking refuge in the snowy embrace of the peaks? For centuries, the secrets of his fate remained as elusive as the clouds that drifted over the summits, shrouded in myth, yet anchored in history. Today, the remnants of this once great kingdom lie hidden beneath the snow, whispering tales of ambition and rivalry to those who dare to venture into the heart of the Himalayas. The lost empire, once a thriving civilization, now lingers in the shadows of time, waiting for the brave and the curious to uncover its mysteries, to breathe life once more into the stories that have long been buried beneath the frost. And as the wind howls through the craggy peaks, it carries with it the echoes of a time when power was pursued with fervor, and empires rose and fell like the mountains themselves, eternal yet ever-changing. In the shadow of the towering Himalayas, where the air turns thin and the chill seeps into the bones, lies an ancient kingdom shrouded in myths and mysteries. The forgotten empire, nestled among the snow-clad peaks, was not merely a realm of stone and ice, but a sanctum of divine narratives and celestial beings. Here the mountains were not just inanimate giants, they were the abodes of deities whose stories echoed through the corridors of time. The people of this empire revered a pantheon of gods, each embodying elements of nature and human experience interwoven into the fabric of their daily lives. At the heart of their worship was Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva of compassion, known in whispers as the guardian of the snow. Legends whispered that he descended from the heavens to guide the lost and the suffering, his benevolent spirit cascading down the mountains like a gentle snowfall. Temples dedicated to Avalokiteshvara, adorned with intricate carvings of lotus flowers and serene faces, have been uncovered at archaeological sites like the remote ruins of Gug, where the remnants of the forgotten empire linger beneath layers of frost. Another deity, revered by the hardy mountain dwellers, was Yama, the god of death and transformation. In the icy breath of the Himalayas, Yama was not feared but honored. He was believed to guide souls through the treacherous paths of the afterlife. Offerings of rice and barley were left at the base of sacred rocks, where the wind howled with the voices of ancestors, an act of communion with the divine. Such practices have been illuminated in artifacts discovered at the site of Tashilhunpo Monastery, where frescoes depict the duality of life and death, encapsulating the empire's deep spiritual beliefs. The deities were not mere figments of the imagination, but were believed to manifest through natural phenomena. The people looked to the peaks for omens. The swirling mists were seen as the breath of their gods, and the crack of shifting glaciers was interpreted as divine communication. The sacred Mount Kailash, often regarded as the axis of the universe, was believed to be the earthly manifestation of the cosmic mountain Meru. Pilgrimages to its base were undertaken with reverence, for it symbolized both a literal and spiritual ascent toward enlightenment. But the lore of the forgotten empire was not without its darker threads. The deity known as Narasimha, a fierce incarnation of Vishnu, was invoked in times of strife. His frightening visage, part lion and part man, embodied the ferocity of nature and the wrath of the righteous. In stone sculptures found in the remnants of ancient shrines, Narasimha's figure is depicted with an unsettling calmness, juxtaposed against scenes of chaos and battle, suggesting a belief that even the wrath of the divine could lead to rebirth and renewal. As the seasons changed, so too did the worship practices of the empire's inhabitants. The winter solstice, with its long, dark nights, was a sacred time dedicated to the goddess Parvati, the embodiment of fertility and the nurturing spirit of the earth. It was believed that during this time she descended into the valley to bless the land with life for the coming year. Celebrations of light and fire would illuminate the dark, echoing ancient traditions that resonated across cultures, suggesting an interconnectedness that transcended time and geography. One of the most captivating aspects of this ancient belief system is the legends surrounding the existence of a hidden temple said to be a nexus for the spiritual energies of the land. The temple, lost to the snows and winds, is whispered to contain the sacred texts of the empire, scrolls that hold the secrets of the gods and the wisdom of ages. Explorers who have braved the treacherous passes of the Himalayas have reported visions of luminescent structures shimmering through the snow, yet none have returned with proof of such a wonder. Archaeological expeditions have unearthed hints of this temple in the form of inscriptions in ancient scripts, tantalizing glimpses of a civilization that once thrived in harmonious accord with the divine. The deities of the forgotten empire were not only the guardians of the people, but also the keepers of stories, interwoven with the fabric of human existence. They embodied the struggles, hopes, and dreams of a civilization that dared to reach for the heavens, nestled beneath the eternal embrace of the Himalayas. As the winds continue to whisper their tales, the mystery of these ancient gods lingers, waiting for a time when the veil of snow might finally yield their secrets once more. In the realms where the colossal peaks of the Himalayas pierce the sky, shrouded in clouds and legends, lay an ancient kingdom known as the Shavangri, a civilization that once flourished amidst towering glaciers and sacred fires. The beauty of their land was a paradox. Beneath the cool white blanket of snow, a fierce warmth burned in the hearts of its people. They revered the duality of existence, snow and fire, life and death, believing that these elements were intertwined in a cosmic dance that defined their very essence. The Shavangrians held elaborate rituals that celebrated the harmony between these contrasting forces. As the seasons shifted, they gathered at the sacred site of Muktanath, a hidden valley where flames flickered amidst icy streams, a marvel that baffled scholars even in modern times. Here, they believed, was the doorway to the heavens. The shimmering waters, said to be blessed by the divine, served as both a source of life and a cleansing agent for the soul, while the eternal flames represented the enduring spirit of their ancestors. Each year the kingdom would observe the Festival of the Frozen Flame, a grand celebration that signified the balance of life and death, warmth and cold. The event commenced on the winter solstice, a time when darkness prevailed, and the sun seemed to retreat from their world. The Shavangrians adorned themselves in vibrant silks and furs, their bodies painted with symbols of snowflakes and flames, a tapestry of nature's forces woven into their very beings. Among the notable figures of this ancient civilization was the high priestess, Ashara, a woman of profound wisdom and ethereal beauty. She was said to possess the gift of foresight, able to commune with both the fiery spirits of the mountains and the icy entities of the glaciers. Ashara's presence was magnetic, drawing the people of Shavangri to her as moths to a flame. During the festival, she would stand at the heart of the ceremonial ground, surrounded by flickering torches, and the soft glow of the sacred fire, her voice a haunting melody that echoed through the valleys. As she chanted ancient incantations, the air thickened with the scent of pine and burning herbs, while the rhythmic beating of drums caused hearts to race with anticipation. Villagers would carry offerings of grains and flowers, casting them into the flames as a symbol of their devotion. It was believed that the smoke would rise to the heavens, intertwining with the prayers of the living, reaching the deities who governed the delicate balance of their world. But the rituals were not merely celebrations, they were also acts of survival. In the bitter cold, the Shavangrians understood that they had to honor the spirits of nature, coaxing warmth from the flames to stave off the encroaching winter. Archaeological evidence from the remnants of their sacred sites indicates a complex understanding of astronomy, as they aligned their rituals with celestial events, solstices and equinoxes, crafting a calendar that dictated the rhythm of their lives. Yet, within the harmony of the Festival of the Frozen Flame, there lurked an undercurrent of tension. The ancient texts, written in a script that remains indecipherable to this day, hint at a prophecy whispered in hushed tones, foretelling a great upheaval. It spoke of the time when the mountains themselves would awaken, and the very fabric of their dual existence would be challenged. As such, Ishara, the high priestess, became a figure of both reverence and dread for those who sought to unravel the prophecy, believed she held the key to their survival. In the shadow of the Himalayas, the Shavangrians also practiced the rite of the firewalker, a test of faith and endurance that further bound them to their elemental beliefs. Participants would walk across a path of burning coals, a rite performed at the height of the festival. It was a cleansing act, purging one's fears and doubts, leaving only the brave to emerge with renewed vigor. Thus, the fire became a transformative force, molding spirits and forging destinies under the watchful gaze of snow-capped peaks. However, as with all empires, the tale of Shavangri reached a twilight, and the whispers of the mountains grew louder. The rituals that once echoed through the valleys began to fade, their significance lost to the relentless march of time. Still, the legacy of the Festival of the Frozen Flame remains etched in the hearts of those who remember, a testament to the extraordinary balance of snow and fire, life and death that once defined a lost empire, a gateway to heaven that continues to elude our understanding. In the shadow of the towering Himalayas, where the air grows thin and the winds whisper secrets, lies a tapestry of legends woven into the very fabric of the mountains. Among these tales, one stands out, a chilling prophecy that has echoed through the ages, spoken of by the ancients and murmured by the wind-swept peaks. It is known as the prophecy of the snowy peaks, a foretelling of the rise and inevitable fall of an ancient kingdom that has long since vanished from the annals of time. The roots of this prophecy can be traced back to the early days of the Forgotten Empire, when a revered oracle named Suryakanta dwelled in the heights of the mountains. According to ancient texts, Suryakanta was a sage with the ability to commune with the spirits of the mountains, often retreating into the icy caverns that sprawled beneath the snow-clad summits. Here, amidst the flickering light of oil lamps and the enveloping chill, she received divine visions that foretold the fate of her people. One such vision, described in the stone carvings recovered from the ancient site of Tsomariri, depicted a monumental struggle against a shadowy invader prophesied to descend upon the kingdom like a tempest. The text, etched in a language long forgotten, spoke of the great winter's heart, a force that would consume the land and cast its inhabitants into an eternal slumber beneath the snow. This chilling image captured the imagination of the people, and it is said that Suryakanta warned her king, the mighty Thangma, of the impending doom. The prophecy did not merely portend destruction, it also spoke of the hope that would rise from the ashes. The visions foretold of a hero born under the first full moon of winter, a child destined to unite the fractured clans of the kingdom and lead them to glory against the impending darkness. As the seasons turned, the people of the forgotten empire looked to the mountains, seeking omens in the clouds and signs in the stars, their hearts swelling with a mix of dread and hope. As time flowed like the glacial rivers winding through the valleys, the prophecy became entwined with the fabric of daily life. Festivals celebrating the moonlit child were held, where songs resonated through the valleys, and dances were performed in honor of the spirits of the mountains. The people founded temples, such as those unearthed in the ruins of Kinnaur, adorned with intricate carvings depicting the saga of the oracle and the prophecy. These sites became places of pilgrimage, where seekers would attempt to divine their own fates amid the sacred stones. Yet, as the years stretched into decades, the prophecy began to loom larger than life itself. The forgotten empire, with its vibrant culture and strategic trade routes, grew complacent. The warnings of Suryakanta faded into myth, and the people turned their gaze from the snowy peaks to the wealth that flowed through their bustling markets. The whispers of the mountains turned to echoes, and the shadow of the great winter's heart began to loom ever closer. It was during this time that the first signs of the prophecy's fulfillment began to emerge. As recorded in the annals of the time, a series of strange phenomena gripped the kingdom. Unseasonable storms ravaged the lands, and crops withered under unnatural frost. The celestial bodies began to dance in peculiar patterns, and the once thriving villages found themselves gripped by despair. An air of foreboding settled over the landscape, thick as the mists that clung to the mountains. Amidst this turmoil, a child named Lahamo was born, under a clear night sky where the full moon cast a silvery glow over the mountains. As the prophecy had foretold, her arrival stirred the hearts of the people. She grew up hearing the stories of Suryakanta and the whispers of destiny that seemed to envelop her like a shroud. Yet the path to destiny is often fraught with challenges, and Lamo would soon find herself caught in the struggle to unite a kingdom splintered by fear and division. In the echoes of the snowy peaks, the prophecy unfolded, intertwining the fates of the people with the relentless march of time. The mountains, both a sanctuary and a prison, stood witness to the unfolding drama, the rise of hope, the gathering storms, and the age-old struggle against the darkness that threatened to extinguish the light of civilization. As the ancients believed, the spirit of the mountains held the key to the kingdom's fate, waiting to unveil the truth that lay hidden beneath the snow, where the past whispers of forgotten empires and the promise of a new dawn lingers just beyond the horizon. In the shadow of the majestic Himalayas, where the air is thin and the whispers of ancient tales mingle with the cold winds, there existed a monarch whose name echoed through the valleys and peaks, King Trikala of the Lost Kingdom, a ruler as enigmatic as the empire he governed. At the zenith of his reign, Trikala was regarded not only as a leader, but as a demigod, a man who claimed descent from the celestial beings that resided in the heavens, the very gate to which his kingdom often aspired. The rise of King Trikala was no mere happenstance. It was a convergence of prophecy and fate. Local lore spoke of the Muktinath Valley, a sacred site believed to be the point where the gods descended to earth. According to ancient scripts discovered in the clandestine caves of Mustang, it was foretold that a king would emerge from the ice, destined to unite the fractured tribes of the highlands whose feuds had raged for generations. As the tale goes, Trikala emerged from the frozen depths of the Himalayas, a child of the snow, raised by the winds and the whispers of the mountains. Arriving at the age of 15, Trikala rallied the clans, employing not just his keen intellect and charisma, but also a shrewd understanding of the political landscape. He established pacts with neighboring tribes through a blend of diplomacy and strategic marriages, marrying the daughter of the fierce Churung clan leader, which would ultimately cement his power. Trikala's rise was marked by a series of battles that showcased his tactical brilliance. The Battle of Chiangra, fought against the rival Pahari tribe, is particularly noted in the annals of history as a turning point. It is said that Trikala, employing the element of surprise, outmaneuvered the Pahari forces by leading them into the treacherous mountain passes, where snow avalanches became his unintended allies. As king, Trikala was not just a warrior, he was an architect of culture and progress. He commissioned the building of grand temples dedicated to the deities revered in his kingdom, most notably the Temple of the Celestial Gate, nestled against the backdrop of the towering peaks. Archaeological evidence of this temple, with its intricate carvings of snow leopards and celestial motifs, has been unearthed in recent decades, suggesting a society that valued both art and spirituality. The temple served as a hub for scholars and priests, where the sacred texts were transcribed and the oral histories of the kingdom were preserved. Yet, as the kingdom flourished under Trikala's reign, the seeds of his eventual downfall were being sown. The very alliances that bolstered his power began to fray. Jealousy and ambition stirred among the tribes once united under his banner. Historical records from Tibetan monks, who chronicled the era, speak of a growing discontent among the lesser clans, feeling overshadowed by the royal family, a sentiment that simmered until it reached a boiling point. The turning tide came with the advent of a devastating winter. It was during this time that the kingdom faced a calamity, an unrelenting snowstorm that buried the fields and starved the people. Trikala, caught between the wrath of nature and the ire of his subjects, attempted to quell the unrest with feasts and promises of prosperity. But the cold left his people disillusioned. They called upon the deities for relief, and when no answers came, they turned against their king, questioning his divine lineage. The final blow to Trikala's reign came from within. A faction led by his once loyal advisor Sorak, fueled by ambition and a sense of betrayal, rose against him. Sorak accused Trikala of neglect for the common people, spurring a rebellion that swept across the kingdom like wildfire. The Battle of the Frozen Valley, fought amidst swirling snow and howling winds, would become the last stand for the once great monarch. In the chaos, tales echo through the mountains that Trikala fought valiantly, his form a blur against the white landscape, but the tides of fate were against him. Ultimately, it is said that King Trikala vanished into the snow, his body never found, swallowed by the very mountains that had once heralded his rise. His legacy, however, endured, whispered among the snow-laden pines and carried by the winds. The forgotten empire he built became a tapestry of legends, a kingdom entwined in the mysteries of the Himalayas, where the line between history and myth is as thin as a wisp of smoke rising from a winter's hearth. As we gaze upon the lofty peaks, we cannot help but wonder, did King Trikala ascend to join the celestial beings of his lineage, or did he become a part of the mountains themselves, forever watching over the kingdom he once ruled? Such are the enigmas that time weaves into its tapestry, leaving us to ponder the rise and fall of a great monarch beneath the endless, snowy expanse. In the heart of the Himalayas, where the peaks loom like ancient sentinels watching over the world, lay a kingdom whose existence was whispered through time. This realm, often considered a mere figment of folklore, was a vital nexus in a vast web of trade routes. The presence of these routes, known as the Silk Road in its more famed stretches, extended into the snowy embrace of these mountains, facilitating not merely the passage of goods, but also ideas, cultures, and alliances that would shape the course of civilizations. As the frost-bitten winds howled through the craggy passes, it was here that merchants, adventurers, and diplomats met, creating a tapestry woven from silks, spices, and stories. Among the most significant of these early merchants was a man named Zhang Qian, a Chinese envoy whose explorations in the 2nd century BCE opened pathways that would connect the Han dynasty to the fabled lands of Central Asia and beyond. Zhang's accounts tell of snow-covered valleys rich with resources, of people who worshipped mountain deities, and of a kingdom that thrived on the vibrant exchange of goods and knowledge. Archaeological evidence has surfaced, suggesting the presence of extensive trade networks radiating from this forgotten empire. Excavations in the region of Gilgit-Baltistan have unearthed remnants of ancient caravanseries where weary travelers once rested, and bustling marketplaces where vibrant textiles and rare spices were exchanged. Pottery shards and metalwork bearing the insignias of distant lands speak to a thriving economy that reached far beyond the icy confines of the Himalayas. The kingdom's strategic location transformed it into a melting pot of cultural exchange, with artifacts unearthed from the region revealing a surprising amalgamation of artistic influences. Intricate carvings depicting scenes of trade, interspersed with motifs from Hellenistic art, hint at the depth of interaction with empires like the Greco-Bactrian kingdom. The fusion of styles in pottery and sculpture suggests that alliances were forged not only through commerce, but also through shared beliefs and artistic endeavors. Moreover, the legends of the kingdom include tales of alliances with neighboring states. One such alliance was purportedly formed with the Kushan Empire, which, during its zenith, from the 1st to 3rd century CE, was a formidable force stretching across Central Asia into the Indian subcontinent. The Kushans, known for their patronage of Buddhism, may have collaborated with the kingdom to enhance the spread of this philosophy along the trade routes, using the mountains as a conduit for spiritual and economic exchange. This partnership saw the establishment of Buddhist stupas and monasteries along the trade paths, signifying a deliberate effort to intertwine commerce with spiritual enlightenment. However, alliances in these turbulent times were often fraught with peril. As trade flourished, so too did envy and ambition. The forgotten empire found itself at the crossroads of competing powers. Historical texts from the era hint at tensions with the Sasanian Empire to the west, whose ambitious rulers sought to control the lucrative trade that snaked through the mountains. The lush valleys and rich resources of this snow-blanketed kingdom became a prize, and the leaders understood that their survival hinged on their ability to navigate this treacherous political landscape. The royal court, nestled in the shadow of formidable peaks, was a theater of intrigue. Scholars suggest that alliances were not merely forged through friendship, but often through marriages between royal families. Such unions, a common practice in the ancient world, were intended to solidify ties and secure peace. The blending of bloodlines created a complex network of loyalties that transcended geographical borders, forming a fragile yet resilient web that held the empire together. Yet, as with all powerful entities, the grip of the forgotten kingdom began to wane. As trade routes shifted and new powers emerged, the icy grip of the Himalayas concealed a gradual decline. The once thriving marketplaces fell silent, their echoes buried beneath the snow. and the vibrant tapestry of trade that had knitted this kingdom into the fabric of history began to unravel. The remnants of this trade-driven civilization lie in ruins, whispering secrets to those brave enough to traverse the treacherous paths. Archaeologists, with their spades and brushes, carefully excavate the frozen earth, uncovering fragments of a world that flourished amidst the ice and snow. The artifacts tell stories of resilience and ambition, of a kingdom that once stood at the pivotal intersection of commerce and culture, a gateway to heaven that faded into obscurity. So beneath the eternal snows of the Himalayas, the echoes of the past linger still, a testament to the forgotten empire that thrived on the strength of its trade routes and alliances, waiting patiently for the world to remember its name. In the shadowy embrace of the Himalayas, where ancient winds whisper secrets long forgotten, the myths of the forgotten empire intertwine with the rich tapestry of cultures across the globe. As scholars plumb the depths of history, they begin to discern a pattern, a cosmic dance of stories that transcends time and geography, resonating through the annals of human experience. The saga of the forgotten empire, often referred to as the gateway to heaven, unfolds with striking similarities to the legends of other ancient civilizations. Among these parallels, the myth of a great flood serves as a common thread, echoing from the icy peaks of the Himalayas to the fertile banks of Mesopotamia. In the texts of the Sumerians, the Epic of Gilgamesh recounts a deluge sent by the gods to cleanse the earth, a story mirrored in the tales of the forgotten empire's own cataclysmic past. It is said that the empire's inhabitants, guided by their deities, constructed vast stone temples and elaborate altars that still lie hidden beneath layers of frost, remnants of their attempts to appease the celestial forces that ruled their fate. Nestled amid this vast sea of snow, the ruins of a structure known as the Temple of the Sky, discovered by intrepid explorers in the late 19th century, hint at the profound spirituality that permeated the kingdom. Archaeologists unearthed intricate carvings depicting a celestial being, revered as the keeper of the gate, drawing comparisons to the Egyptian god Horus. Both figures were seen as guardians of the threshold between the earthly realm and the divine, a motif prevalent in various cultures. From the majestic pyramids of Giza to the majestic ziggurats of Babylon, the symbolism of the gateway resonates deeply, suggesting a shared understanding of the human quest for transcendence. As one traces the threads of mythology, the echoes of the forgotten empire's creation story resonate with those told in the ancient Vedic texts of India. The tale of Vishnu's cosmic sleep from which the universe emerged finds a distant kinship with the narratives surrounding the birth of the kingdom. It is said that the founders of the empire descended from the heavens, emerging from the sacred snows, much like the deities born from the primordial waters described in Hindu lore. This interconnectedness of stories paints a portrait of a shared human experience, where cultures grapple with existence and the mysteries of life itself. Further north, the tales of the Inuit tribes speak of an icy realm inhabited by spirits and gods, guardians of the frozen landscapes. The forgotten empire's own belief in nature, spirits, protectors of the snow-laden valleys and towering peaks, mirrors these Arctic traditions. The figure of the snow guardian, a revered spirit charged with safeguarding the well-being of the land, resonates with the Inuits' own tales of Sedna, the goddess of the sea and marine animals. Both cultures revered the elements, and their myths served as a bridge between the seen and the unseen, the earthly and the ethereal. Intriguingly, the parallels extend beyond mere myth and permeate the very fabric of societal structures. The forgotten empire's governance, characterized by a council of elders and a monarch, believed to be divinely appointed, finds echoes in the governance of the Inca Empire. Known for their reverence for the sun god Inti, the Incas, too, believed in their leader's divine right to rule, intertwining politics with the sacred. This fusion of the spiritual and the secular reveals a common human inclination to seek legitimacy and guidance from higher powers, a phenomenon that transcends geographic boundaries. As we journey deeper into the labyrinth of history, we encounter the enigmatic figure of the Frost King, a character whose story resonates in both the folklore of the Forgotten Empire and the tales of European winters. In the frost-bitten realms of Slavic mythology, the Frost King, Morozko, brought both hardship and beauty, a duality echoed in the tales of the Forgotten Empire, where winter was both a harsh reality and a season of renewal. The imagery of snowflakes as messengers of fate is prevalent in these narratives, suggesting a universal symbolism that binds cultures across continents. Thus, the myths surrounding the Forgotten Empire, while unique in their own right, stand as a testament to the shared human experience. They weave a narrative that speaks of creation and destruction, of divine intervention and earthly struggles. As the snow continues to blanket the ruins of this ancient kingdom, its stories remain embedded within the hearts of those who dare to dream. A reminder that we are all part of a greater tale, echoing through the ages, a mosaic of myths intertwined across the fabric of time. The mountains keep their secrets, but the whispers persist, urging us to seek the truths that lie just beneath the snow. In the heart of the Himalayas, where the fierce winds howl like ancient spirits and the ice holds its breath, lies a secret long buried beneath layers of snow and time. The tale of the Forgotten Empire, known in whispers as the Gateway to Heaven, is steeped in enigma, yet it is one that beckons the intrepid and the curious alike. As the sun dips low beyond the jagged peaks, casting long shadows over the frozen landscape, it is here that we delve into the mysteries that lie beneath the ice. Beneath the permafrost, archaeologists have uncovered a treasure trove of secrets, remnants of a civilization that flourished in an era long forgotten. In the early 21st century, a team led by Dr. Arjun Vyas, a prominent archaeologist specializing in ancient Tibetan cultures, stumbled upon what was once a bustling city at the base of Mount Kailash. This discovery, made in the summer of 2015, revealed intricately carved stone structures, their surfaces adorned with symbols that echoed the motifs of Buddhist and pre-Buddhist iconography. The artistry hinted at a culture that revered the divine and understood the delicate balance of nature, a society that thrived in harmony with the mighty mountains. Among the most captivating finds were the frozen tombs, meticulously preserved in the cold embrace of the Himalayas. They held the remains of nobles adorned with ornate jewelry, a testament to their status, and accompanied by artifacts of daily life, pottery, tools, and even remnants of food. What struck Dr. Vyas and his team the most were the strange inscriptions found on the walls of these tombs, which appeared to narrate the lives of those interred within. Each glyph seemed to tell a story of valor, love, and sacrifice, leaving scholars pondering the identities of these ancient figures who once ruled a kingdom revered as sacred. As the team continued to excavate, they uncovered a network of tunnels that seemed to extend far beyond the confines of the tombs. These passages, icy and labyrinthine, whispered of an underground world. Some speculated that they served as escape routes or hidden sanctuaries, while others believed they were pathways leading to a mythical underworld. Intrigued by the possibility of a larger civilization hidden beneath the ice, Dr. Vyas organized a series of expeditions to explore these subterranean mysteries. Amidst the icy labyrinth, an unexpected discovery was made. A chamber that appeared untouched by time, adorned with murals depicting celestial events and the cycle of life and death. The images suggested a deep understanding of cosmology, capturing the luminous dance of stars and the passage of seasons. Here, the ancient inhabitants of this kingdom seemed to commune with the heavens, invoking the gods for guidance and offering sacrifices to appease the forces that governed their world. Yet, it was the artifacts unearthed from this chamber that truly ignited the imaginations of historians and archaeologists alike. Among the relics was a ceremonial dagger, its blade crafted from an unknown metal that shimmered with an otherworldly light, defying the very laws of nature. This weapon, believed to be a symbol of power, was etched with runes that scholars struggled to decipher. Some suggested that it possessed mystical properties, perhaps even capable of granting the wielder dominion over the elements. With each new find, the tale of the forgotten empire grew richer, but the questions also multiplied. Who were the rulers of this enigmatic kingdom? What led to their demise? As the ice shifted and the air grew colder, a chilling realization dawned upon Dr. Vyas and his team. The answers they sought might be guarded by forces beyond their comprehension. The mountains, revered as sacred by many cultures, held not only the secrets of an ancient civilization, but also the remnants of a powerful legacy that had sought to ascend into the heavens. In the quiet solitude of the Himalayas, where the air crackled with the weight of untold stories, the expedition's findings began to ripple through the academic world. The forgotten empire, once considered a mere myth, now stood on the precipice of revelation. The secrets beneath the ice beckoned, urging explorers to tread cautiously, for the mountains themselves seemed to whisper warnings of the past. A reminder that some enigmas are best left untouched, lest they awaken the spirits of a bygone era. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue upon the icy expanse, the team sat by their campfire, the warmth a stark contrast to the eternal chill surrounding them. They shared tales of their findings, their dreams interwoven with the mysteries of the empire that had vanished beneath the snow. Yet, in the back of their minds, lingered the unshakable truth. Beneath the ice lay not just remnants of a forgotten civilization, but the echoes of a powerful legacy that still held sway over their imaginations, a story waiting to be told. In the shadow of the majestic Himalayas, where the winds whispered secrets of ages long past, the forgotten empire found itself standing at the precipice of annihilation. The year was 1234 CE, a time when the celestial snow-capped peaks bore witness to the encroaching darkness that threatened to engulf the kingdom, said to be the gateway to heaven. The vibrant tapestry of life that had flourished for centuries was now fraying, unraveling under the weight of an impending invasion. The kingdom, known in hushed tones as Furba, was not just a realm of majestic palaces and thriving trade, but a citadel of wisdom and spirituality hidden high in the mountains. Legends spoke of its rulers, the Arya dynasty, whose lineage traced back to the legendary figure King Gyalpo, a leader revered for his benevolence and strategic acumen. Yet it was Gyalpo's descendant, Queen Tashi, who would come to be remembered for her indomitable spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. As the first snows of winter began to blanket the land, Tashi convened her council in the grand hall of the Sky Palace, a structure carved from the very stone of the mountains adorned with intricate murals depicting the celestial dance of the heavens. The air was thick with tension. Scouts had returned with news of a formidable army led by the warlord Nima, known for his brutality and cunning. His forces, forged in the fires of conquest, were marching through the treacherous mountain passes, their banners flapping like dark omens against the pale sky. "Let them come," Tashi's voice rang out, fierce and unwavering. She had gathered not only her trusted advisors, but also the shamans of the land, whose wisdom was said to be divined from the very spirits of the mountains. "We will not surrender our home, our legacy, nor our souls. We shall stand united as our ancestors did." The council chamber buzzed with energy as strategists unfurled maps etched on ancient parchment, detailing the mountain passes and hidden valleys that could be used to their advantage. Tashi's plans were ambitious, calling for guerrilla tactics that utilized the treacherous landscape. The kingdom's warriors, known for their agility and knowledge of the mountains, would strike from the shadows, drawing the enemy into a trap that would demonstrate the ingenuity of their forebears. As the cold winds howled outside, the artisans of Furba worked tirelessly, crafting weapons from the iron-rich deposits found in the mountains. They forged daggers and arrows inscribed with sacred symbols meant to invoke protection from the mountain deities. The people, emboldened by their queen's resolve, rallied together, their spirits ignited like the flickering flames in the hearths of their homes. On the eve of battle, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold, Tashi ascended a sacred peak known as Chomolungma's Whisper. It was here she sought guidance from the spirits of her ancestors. Standing before an ancient altar, she invoked the names of those who had come before her, their spirits swirling in the frosty air, their voices mingling with the whispers of the wind. Guide us to victory. Let our resolve be as unyielding as the mountains. Let our hearts beat in time with the pulse of the earth beneath us, she prayed, her voice echoing against the cliffs. And as if in response, a sudden gust of wind swept through, carrying with it the scent of pine and the promise of strength. The following day, as the sun struggled to pierce through the heavy clouds, the armies of Furba made their stand. The warriors, clad in furs and armor, positioned themselves strategically along the narrow mountain paths, their eyes sharp, hearts pounding with anticipation. They waited, breath bated, as the thundering footsteps of Nima's forces reverberated through the valley. What followed was a fierce clash of wills. Tashi's warriors, empowered by their queen's fierce determination, descended upon the invaders like a tempest, striking with precision and ferocity. The narrow passes became a lethal battleground, where every twist and turn held the promise of glory or despair. The invaders, caught off guard by the fierce resistance, faltered, their ranks breaking as Furba's warriors surged forward, wielding not just weapons but the very essence of their homeland. Yet, as the battle raged, loss seeped into the hearts of the valiant defenders. The cries of the fallen echoed through the mountains, a haunting reminder of the stakes at hand. Tashi, amidst the chaos, fought valiantly, her sword gleaming in the dim light, a beacon of hope and defiance. But even the mightiest of queens could not stem the tide of fate alone. As dusk descended upon the battlefield, with the snows now stained crimson, Tashi and her warriors faced a daunting choice: to retreat into the heart of the mountains and preserve their culture, or to fight until the last breath was drawn. In that moment, amidst the swirling snowflakes and the fading light, the spirit of the forgotten empire was not merely one of resistance, but of resilience that would echo through the annals of time, waiting for those daring enough to seek it beneath the snows of the Himalayas. In the shadow of the Himalayas, where the mountains whisper secrets older than time, lies a legacy woven into the very fabric of the earth, a story of a forgotten empire that once thrived amidst the icy peaks, only to be lost to the embrace of snow and silence. This is the tale of the kingdom of Shambhala, a name that echoes through the annals of myth and history, a realm said to be the gateway to heaven itself. The evidence of Shambhala's existence has long eluded historians, buried beneath layers of ice and myth. Yet it is the tales passed down through generations that keep its spirit alive, suggesting that the empire was not merely a figment of imagination, but a vibrant civilization that once held sway over vast territories. Ancient texts, unearthed in the dusty libraries of Tibet, speak of a king whose wisdom was as profound as the mountains themselves, a ruler who sought harmony between the earthly and the divine. His name, obscured by time, is said to resonate with the echoes of eternity. Archaeological expeditions have unearthed remnants of this ancient kingdom, scattered like breadcrumbs along the treacherous paths of the Himalayas. Among these, the site of the ruins near the sacred lake Manasarovar stands as a testament to Shambhala, Shekyor's once grand architecture. Intricate carvings depict celestial beings and scenes of daily life, hinting at a society rich in spirituality and artistry. The remains of elaborate stupas and monastic complexes reveal a civilization deeply entrenched in Buddhist philosophy and practice, suggesting that the empire served as a beacon of enlightenment on the fringes of the known world. Yet, it is not merely the artifacts that tell the story of Shambhala, it is the myths that swirl around them. Legends speak of a hidden city where time stands still, where the enlightened dwell in peace, shielded from the chaos of the outside world. The concept of Shambhala permeates various cultures, intertwining with the lore of other civilizations, from the tales of the paradise found in the epic Mahabharata to the mystical depictions in Taoist texts. This shared narrative suggests that the echo of Shambhala is not confined to one people, but resonates across many, a universal quest for a lost utopia. As the narrative weaves through the ages, the profound impact of Shambhala's teachings becomes evident. The empire is said to have championed the principles of compassion, balance, and wisdom, influencing neighboring cultures and fostering a spirit of cooperation along the Silk Road. This ancient trade route, pulsing with the lifeblood of commerce and cultural exchange, became a conduit for Shambhala's ideas, spreading its ethos far beyond the frozen heights of its homeland. Merchants and pilgrims alike, enchanted by tales of the kingdom's splendor, carried its legacy across vast distances, leaving traces in distant lands, from the courts of Persia to the shores of the Mediterranean. The last echoes of this forgotten empire, however, are steeped in tragedy. As the winds of change swept through the region, rival powers sought to dominate the fertile valleys and trade routes once protected by Shambhala's wise governance. The tale of its last monarch, a figure shrouded in both legend and sorrow, speaks of a desperate stand against invaders. He is remembered not only for his valor, but for a profound prophecy that foretold the kingdom's fall. This prophecy hinted at a cyclical nature of existence, suggesting that though the kingdom may perish, its essence would endure, waiting to be reborn in the hearts of those who sought truth and enlightenment. Today, as explorers and scholars tread the ancient paths of the Himalayas, they seek not just the physical remnants of Shambhala, but the spirit that breathed life into its existence. Each stone unearthed, each tale told, serves as a reminder of the impermanence of power and the enduring nature of ideas. The legacy of the forgotten empire continues to inspire seekers of wisdom, urging them to look beyond the tangible and delve into the mysteries of existence. In the end, the kingdom of Shambhala stands as a monument to the human spirit as eternal quest for meaning, a reminder that even in the depths of obscurity, the echoes of a civilization can resonate through time, urging us to seek the divine within ourselves and forge our paths toward the light. Thus, the mountains remain silent guardians of a legacy, forever watching over the dreams of those who dare to believe in the impossible.